Know your rights campaigns are very crucial. Some youth may not know what they can and cannot say to the police. The individual cop is not the problem. It's the system that, see, a lot of people may not know this. Police are not actually there to serve or protect you. They're there to enforce laws. Once they make that arrest and lock you up there, that's their job. That's where it stops for them. Okay? That's their mentality. Okay? It's based off of fear and control is what police really do in the community. So, and most of them don't live in the community that they police, especially if you're talking about north side Minneapolis or south side Minneapolis or parts of St. Paul. There are a few, but most of them don't live in the community that they police. So they don't know the community. They're outsiders. They're strangers. A youth that knows his rights is very crucial. That he doesn't have to consent to a search. He doesn't have to say anything to a police officer. If a youth knows, am I free to leave? Am I free to go? You know, am I being detained? And if so, for what am I being detained? I encourage youth to film the police whenever they're encountered, just to, cover some bases, get the names of police. Community building where, police should be, it's not the youth that's the problem, it's the police. Okay? The police say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you have nothing to hide. You always hear police saying that. But we should be asking the police that themselves. Like, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you have nothing to hide, officer. Right? So why are you tripping if I'm filming you? If you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to hide. So this camera is not going to lie, right? So police are trained to kill, though. So, and it goes back to the Casual Killing Act of 1669, where an authority figure, that the slave master, if the slave would get out of hand, the slave master could legally beat his slave to death without being charged. And that's what's happening nowadays with police, where they're using deadly force and getting away with it. They're getting away with murder, under this mask of protection. Like, I have to protect myself in the community from dangerous criminals. But really, they are the biggest gang, and they are the criminals themselves. So police of color, that's not always the solution, because sometimes they're worse than white cops. To have them cognitively even think about what their job means. Okay, we can't, the youth, because he's sagging or dressing a certain way or has a hoodie on, police target people, kids of color. They're not at risk, they're targeted. They're sought after, they're sought out, they're picked on, they're harassed. It's set up that way. It's not a coincidence. It's created that way. That's how the system is created, that police have to follow quotas and have to make so many arrests. And Save the Kids believe we don't need police, that we can create peace on our own. The police are set to control and to produce fear in people. Many of the kids that I've talked to say, what would it be like without any police? They're like, the first thing they say is like, we'd all kill each other. We need police. So the mindset is there, like these cops are actually making society continue, which is completely false. So the youth have to know their rights. So we have Know Your Rights campaigns that youth should film police, question police. Um, they should be able to walk down the street without being harassed. You know, if they want to have, I mean, they should historically do research on the police and how they were formed, because they were actually formed out of slave catchers. Okay, when the people were deputized to catch runaway slaves. Um, Family members were deputized by the sheriffs and the lawmen. Um, Historically, look at the injustices of police and how that plays a part now. Just in January last month in 2015, over 100 people of color have already been killed nationwide by the police. Um, it's a nationwide epidemic, and police are domestic terrorists. They call these other people with um, um, call all these other individuals and groups terrorists when more people of color have lost their lives at hands of police than any so-called terrorist from another country. That's a hidden fact. People are hypnotized by media distortions. Um, so there are a few, on the other end, there are a few officers that might be making an effort to, within the system itself, exposing what they're taught and how they were trained to be a police officer. You know that, does that make sense? So youth shouldn't have to, I mean, youth are really afraid of the police as well when they shouldn't have to be. But that's the environment we have, you know? A police officer could kill me today. I mean, imagine waking up with that thought and you're a 14-year-old boy fearing that the police are there to kill you, you know? Bulletproof vests for our youth. That's another suggestion. It's got to be a campaign to protect our children with vests when cops are after them. It's a vendetta that they have. I'm not talking about all police, but the system that has created that's the mission. So it's not the individual's blame because they're just doing their job. They have to lock up. They have to arrest. They have to do these things. If they don't arrest, they make up arrests. They make up crimes. They plant evidence. They plant things.